The male officers in Miami-Dade, they don't play. They got a rule. Once a chick hit the wall, once an officer hit the wall, any male officer that gets her that D, they won't lie for him. They won't lie when he lied on his police report. They say you should not have gave that chick, that officer that's 51 years old, that hit the wall, any D.
Open the door, we can talk about it.
So that chick, she won't get no D in the sheriff office, so she traveled her ass 8 hours to get D for a 17-year-old. And now her ass is in big trouble.
Deputy is under arrest and facing child sex charges.
Let's get right over to Local 10's Christian De La Rosa live in Doral with the details. Christian.
The feds say the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office actually assisted them in their investigation, and tonight the sheriff is saying she is disturbed. Federal authorities at the home of a Miami-Dade County Sheriff deputy Tuesday night before taking her into custody Wednesday. The deputy, identified as 51-year-old Carle Miranda Blum, is charged with receipt and production of child sex abuse material. Detectives with Project Safe Childhood say the victim was 17, adding Blum traveled to Atlanta, Georgia earlier this year, where she recorded multiple videos of herself engaging in sex acts with the then minor victim. Neighbors inside this homestead community say authorities were at the deputy's home for hours before her arrest. When we knocked on the home's door Wednesday, no one answered. The Miami-Dade County Sheriff telling Local 10 News she's disturbed and saying in a statement, these allegations are not only criminal, they are a betrayal of the badge, the public trust, and the oath we swear to uphold. The actions alleged stand in direct opposition to everything we represent as law enforcement officers and as human beings. And if convicted, this deputy faces a maximum sentence of 50 years in federal prison. Live in Doral outside the sheriff's office, I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
Guys, I don't want to cross the line. I don't want to accuse a cat of being on that fentanyl to the max. But what female you know is doing 50 years in prison for sleeping with a 17-year-old?
Detectives with Project Safe Childhood say the victim was 17.
You think a female cop gonna get 50 years in prison for sleeping with someone that's now 18? Are you high? Are you high than a motherfucker on that fentanyl?
And if convicted, this deputy faces a maximum sentence of 50 years in federal prison.
Viewers, we are bouncing for this news station and we're going to NBC. I'm not going to subject my viewers to listen to a cat that might be higher than a motherfucker on fentanyl. In the other news station, they anchor, she got big ass titties, so y'all going to enjoy that more than the fentanyl station.
Sheriff's office deputy is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old. Officers arrested her today. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trina Robinson.
And I'm Jawan Schrader. Good evening to you. NBC6's Nico Clemens is live outside the sheriff's office with the troubling allegations. Nico.
Well, Juwan, Trina, investigators say this deputy traveled out of the state to see the teen and even recorded inappropriate videos of them together. Alarming and disturbing allegations against Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office Deputy Carle Blum. This is her on body camera from a few years ago. The United States Attorney's Office says Blum had several videos and pictures of a 17-year-old who was, quote, engaged in sexually explicit conduct. A federal complaint says the deputy went to Atlanta, Georgia this past spring and recorded several videos of herself having sex with the then 17-year-old. Officers arrested Blum Wednesday.
Open the door, come on, we gotta help you out.
In 2022, Blum was one of several police officers at the time who showed up at a Miami-Dade apartment complex after people called 911 saying they heard arguing and a woman screaming inside one of the units.
Open the door, we can talk about it.
Once officers got inside, one of them shot and killed a man who they say was holding 2 knives. Miami-Dade Sheriff said in a statement Wednesday, these allegations are not only criminal, they are a betrayal of the badge, the public trust, and the oath we swear to uphold. 3 years later, Blum is now on the wrong side of the law. So So Blum faces several years in prison if convicted. You two, so much more to learn with this disturbing story. Nico Clemens, NBC6 News.
All right, Nico.
Thank God that Poindexter brother, he was not on that fentanyl. But it's official. Homegirl has hit the wall. From Miami to Atlanta, Georgia, that has to be an 8-hour drive. So the amount of time it takes you to sleep, get a good night's sleep, that chick was driving to make videos with an underage male or female. They didn't tell us. She could be a lesbian. She watches the WNBA, so it's possible she's a lesbian, and you can't monetize that video because the male or female is underage. You male officers, you don't play in Miami-Dade. You say, what, the chick hit the wall? You ain't getting no D for us. If any officer break the rule, we ain't gonna lie for him. Everything a black cat do, an Hispanic cat, he is watching to copy the same thing. So the Hispanic cats, they see all the black cats, Dick riding Kevin Samuels, stealing all his saying about hitting the wall, average is best. So these officers, they were in their sanctuary city, they were safe, nobody could fuck with them. They said, let's go to Miami Gardens. They seen the police chief, and they crossed the line. They said it. They said it. They told the Miami Gardens police chief she hit the wall, and her mentality is a HNIC, the head nigga in charge. And she did not play with their asses. She did not even play with a dog ass. One kid, she took his dog away, and he is crashing out.
Calling for the resignation of the police chief today. The officers alleging a series of civil rights violations and misconduct. Local 10's Trent Kelly is joining us live with details on the lawsuit they are filing. Trent.
Yeah, Louis, that pending lawsuit involving 5 different officers here at Miami Gardens PD, all 5 claiming they were the victims of racial discrimination, leading to their demotions and in one case, outright suspension. Now they're calling on the chief of police here to resign.
Enough is enough. We've been taking this for the past 3 years, and enough. We've had enough.
5 Miami Gardens police officers announcing plans to file a lawsuit against the city and demanding the termination of the department's police chief after claiming they were discriminated against because they're Hispanic.
We've been subject of transfers, demotions, some of us relieved of duty, myself, without no cause, violation of the Bill of Rights. And this has been going on for several years now.
3 of the veteran officers speaking during a press conference today in Miami Lakes, including Francisco Mejito, who says he was removed from the department's K-9 unit after 10 years for raising concerns about inconsistent discipline among officers.
My dog was taken from me. I had to break that news to my two young kids, to my wife. And ever since then, the agency has come after me with multiple forms of discipline, to include trying to suspend me without pay for things that were just beyond my control.
Officer Juan Gonzalez was also demoted, he says, for talking to other Hispanic officers at a homicide scene.
I was brought up to his office, and I was scolded for talking to Hispanic officers on scene. I asked for permission to speak freely. I spoke my mind, and when I didn't agree, I stood up, I walked out, and I was followed by my supervisor in a threatening manner, in a hostile fighting position with both fists clenched.
In addition to the chief's firing, the officers involved in the pending suit are also demanding back pay due to lost wages following their demotions and reassignments.
This ongoing policy of discrimination, arbitrary treatment, violating the rights of police officers has a very serious negative effect on public safety for all of the citizens and businesses in the city of Miami Gardens.
Now, we did reach out to Chief Noel Pratt's office today, but they tell us they are not commenting. The city manager also responding, saying they plan to file their own response in court. That's the latest live from Miami Gardens. I'm Trent Kelly, Local 10 News.
It's the line that hurt. Told that man, we gonna help you out. Next thing you know, they put him down.
Open the door, come on, we gotta help you out.
Once officers got inside, one of them shot and killed a man who they say was holding 2 knives.
So even though she's caught on video in her uniform having sex with a 17-year-old.
The United States Attorney's Office says Blum had several videos and pictures of a 17-year-old who was, quote, engaged in sexually explicit conduct. A federal complaint says the deputy went to Atlanta, Georgia this past spring and recorded several videos of herself having sex with the then 17-year-old.
Holla! It's gonna be That's My Twin. So folks, like the video and give me your opinion on this.